Welcome back, guys. Again, another episode of Oracle of Wisdom. The book, The Power of Concentration. In this chapter, the writer addresses the very common chapter in our life that is about wealth. We all mostly struggle to go towards being wealthy. Mostly. So, even the chapter name is Concentrate on Wealth. Wealth can be directed to good or evil. Wealth is a fruit of achievement. Means wealth is not the struggle. Wealth is not the steps that we take every day. Wealth is the final destination of any target that we want to achieve. So when someone is wealthy, they have done a lot of things. In terms of wealthy, doesn't mean money. It can be divine wealth, wisdom, or any other form of wealth, but they have not achieved it directly without any effort or any steps. So that means wealth is the outcome of multiple steps and struggles that we do every day. So it is an achievement, means the final destination where we want to reach. That's called wealth. Secondly, seeing possibilities is another step towards acquiring wealth. Few profit by the mistakes of others. You should always see possibilities, not probabilities only. So, as I said to you in the last episode, we mostly focus on probabilities. That's what the current world is running on, the probabilities. We should be focused on possibilities and the opportunities that can be achieved. So, the next part says, very few profit by the mistakes of others. So what we want to become is we want to become a laboratory. We are in a phase where always most of the people want to become a laboratory rat. We want to do the experiments on ourselves. When just like this book has been written in the past, in the last century or before that. So I am giving you the research of the scholars who have even researched on people and scholars who were like hundreds and thousands of years before them. So we can learn from this, or we can become a laboratory ourselves and try in our old age when we're on our deathbed, we will be saying that, oh, I have learned this. When we can learn the same thing with the experiments and research of these beautiful writers, with the lesson they have given to us. So we don't have to be a laboratory. We can be at the very before age of the deathbed, we can learn these things. Thoughts attract similar thoughts. If you are not enriching others, so you do not deserve to be enriched. As I said to you in the last episode, even in terms of knowledge, in terms of gaining even materialistic wealth, you have to be willing to share. If you are not sharing it, you are not going to gain it. You don't deserve it. The writer says you are not even deserving of wealth even if you are not able to share your knowledge, your wealth, or any other materialistic or non-materialistic wealth that you acquire or you want to acquire. On the pathway of acquiring, even you have to share with others. Only then you are deserving of this even. So in eyes of the writer, you are not even deserving if you are not willing to share it with anyone. So imagine the power of sharing. It increases the wealth in terms of every aspect of life. The next part is cultivate habit of surrounding yourself with men of big acquaintances. Do not expect an easy path to follow. With will and energy, all can be achieved. Again, very powerful thing. Do not expect there is a shortcut. Do not expect it's going to be easy. If you think that it's going to be easy, then everyone will be doing it. So what you have to understand is that it is going to be difficult. The pathway of life is difficult. I don't know which people or which books are telling you it's going to be a happy ending always or a happy pathway. It should be, and we should be following that thought process. That is the thing that has broken our society today and made us where we are. What we see is everything has a happy start, happy process, happy ending, happy steps. No. Life is hardship. You will never see a good thing coming out of a comfort zone. Never. Show me one thing good that has come out of a comfort zone. Means good. in terms of really good, not only overnight success in money from some artificial scams or anything. No, I said good, coming out of a comfort zone. Never have ever any big man in the history of mankind achieved anything big in the comfort zone or in the happy zone. Never. So most men see obstacle to lose courage. Most people are beaten before even start. We don't even start, we are even scared. In the last video we talked about fear. You see, when we see a pathway, a destination, we just unintentionally, with a fear factor, we just start calculating the obstacles. We don't see that the joy is in those obstacles, not the destination. So before even starting for a particular pathway, a destination, we just stop because of the fear of facing those obstacles, that okay, it will hazard our happiness or our comfort zone. So 99% of the people, they don't even start, and rest of the 1% who start at the very first obstacle, most of them, they give up. So you have to come to an understanding first that obstacles are going to be there. They are the part of our life. They are the part of success. Success is not success without obstacles or hardship. It is not success. It was just there for you on the plate. So the next part, start out with idea that road is going to be clear for you. The next line is very beautiful. And if it is not, you will clear it. That's the best part. So in the beginning, what the writer is saying, you have to make an understanding and come to your terms that okay, it's very easy, it's easy peasy, I'm gonna go and achieve that target. The road is gonna be clear, there's no humps, no bumps, no struggle, just full race on, throttle full on the car, that's it, I'm gonna be on the finish line. That's the beginning state, because that gives the power to your mind to start up. But on the pathway also, you have to understand and train your mind. If it is not clear, doesn't matter, I will not give up. I have to complete that road trip. I have to remove all the obstacles. I have to go through the race. How many obstacles? Doesn't matter. Even if it's only obstacles on the road, I will remove them myself. I will find a way to go across them or above them or break them. That's what you have to think. Only then you achieve wealth in terms of materialistic or mindset or divine wealth. So people do not lack strength, they lack will. Again, where we started, it's coming to the same point. Will, W-I-L-L. Your will is the main ill we have, because our will is so sick and weak that we cannot do anything. So that just came to my mind all of a sudden. I have to repeat it. Your will is the main ill we have. So you have to get rid of this sickness of weak will. You have to train your will intentionally. It doesn't come by default. You have to train intentionally to achieve the target. The next part, he says, there is no such thing as failure for a man doing his best. That's a very good line. It triggers me for another video I saw somewhere that says that in human life, we start saying and listening from people that, okay, if you do your best, that's all you need. Even if you haven't succeeded, you will be achieving something. But I heard a video about this. I was listening and I saw that video. I do remember, I don't want to mention the name, that might be a bit controversial, but I do remember watching this video where the guy was saying the universal law is, if you really try your best, there is no way you get a failure, but it has to be the best of you, the best. That is why the writer is saying there is no such thing as failure for a man doing his best. So how can you expect a failure if you actually do your best? If you have a failure, that means there was a gap. So you learned something, that where the gap was. That's the whole point of saying that do your best means, and even if you don't achieve something, you will learn. Means then you learn that you were not doing the best. Means you were giving a gap somewhere in your best. So the next time when you do your best, you will not be having those gaps, and actually you will be doing best, and then there will be no failure. Hope that makes sense. What I will do is I will repeat that in one liner again. If you do your best, there is no way you can fail. That's the mindset you should have, and that's the belief you should have. But the point is, you have to give your total best. In the next chapter, the writer is going to teach us how to concentrate with few exercises, with actual daily practices that we can do to achieve that target, what he's been continuously bragging about and discussing and giving us the knowledge. But how to achieve that, that's the main thing. So he has given us some few tips how to actually achieve those targets of concentration, the power of concentration that we can enhance inside our self. So what he says in the chapter of art of concentration by means of practical exercises, so he's going to give us some few tips and exercises to focus on every day, so our personality is enhanced and we can focus on one target, but slowly it will be happening. As I said to you, it is a chance that 40 times at least you will fail minimum. In the very first podcast, I remember that I have mentioned that when you start focusing on one point, minimum 40 times you will fail. But let me tell you one more thing, 2 or 3 times you will try and most of you will leave it. You will not even think that 40 times, that's the minimum ratio that you have to fail. So you will stop after 3-4 times. So keep in mind, minimum 40 to 100 times you will fail before you start concentrating actually. So what he says, select some thought and see for how long you can have it on one point. For the concentration part, one thought, keep in mind and just focus on only one thought. See that how long you can have it. Then he says it is very advisable that when you're focusing on one thought in your mind and keeping only focus on that one point, keep track of a alarm clock next to you. Start a stopwatch next to you, sit down and start the focus concentration on one point. See that with the time frame, that how long you're gonna do that, how long you are able to concentrate only on one point or one thought, one point of thought. Then you have to keep increasing that time frame, keep increasing that time frame. So writer says the power of concentration is so intense and undermined that it will help you connect and flood it with divine power. So imagine, we only hear in fantasies for divine power and that kind of superpower even. So according to the writer, it is a state in which we will be flooded with that power, not even connected to that power, with flooded with that power. Imagine a being, as a human being, getting a superpower that we only see in fictions. But again, you and me are going to be arrogant and what do you say, a low level state of mind, that we will, or we are willing to compromise that state to take that power even if it's given to us. We will not even practice a little bit of the power of concentration. So with concentration we can achieve that targeted state easily. And then what he says, it is when we connect with super consciousness. This state of super consciousness is achieved by superhumans. That is why it's called super consciousness. So when you achieve this, you become a superhuman, because it was never attained by normal beings. That is why then you are in a different strata of human beings. That is very real. So what he says, very few reach that level of concentration. So if very few will reach that level of concentration, that means this is not something easy and easily given even. So by the superpower or the inner self, we attain a level only by mere concentration, nothing else. We don't have to invest anything. We don't have to have 6 packs. We don't have to have millions of dollars to achieve that. We just need to use ourselves. Means that is possible by every human being on the planet Earth. Doesn't matter in which situation he is. Obviously it sounds easy. I'm not saying it's like easier than anything. If it was way easier, then every person will have that superpower. They have it inside them. They just have not instigated that power. Everyone has it, according to the writer. The willpower to do that, to achieve that superpower is consumed, or you can say attained by everyone by birth. But to use that, everyone use it differently. Everyone consumes it differently. Everyone portrays it differently.
to a different level. Just like a video game, we have different levels. You play more, you get more expert, and then you reach to the final stage. But who plays more? Who puts more concentration? That's the main thing. So it is down to you how much hours and concentration you put in to reach that superpower. And it's within you. You don't need to go outside somewhere. So it is also called cosmic consciousness. This state, when we achieve that target of super consciousness, that is called cosmic consciousness. So in the side of physics, or in terms of fantasies and fictions, you see that when you use the word, when you are way above human level, outside the earth, at that point you start using the word cosmic, because this is not humanly, this is not earthly. That is why it is called divine power attained with the help of only mere concentration. So he says, once possessed, it is a superpower that was unknown to you before. So that superpower you are having inside you, and you are daring not to use it, and you're running around like a fool. That, okay, I cannot do certain things, I cannot do certain parts of my life. How dare we say that? How belittle we make of ourselves, not only to others, to ourselves. We have to self-analyze ourselves. What a fool we are making of ourselves when we have everything inside us. Furthermore, the writer is now pushing us towards not only making a mind of doing things that will help us attain that superpower, but he will be guiding us further onwards. How to, not only just pushing us that we should strive for that superpower, we should just focus on inside to become a superhuman being. That anyone can do that, as we discussed. So you can do that. You can be a superpower, having a superpower person, but you already are. It's just like, how do I put in this easy words, that you have something in you, you have some power in you, but you are being lazy enough not to use it, not to take the control of that power. You have given the remote control to the outer world, to the instigations and livelihood and brightness of this outer world, and you have pushed yourself to a dungeon where you telling your superpower, no, I don't want to use you, I have it, I want to keep it inside, but I will never use it. I'm so arrogant enough, I'm so lazy enough, I'm so dull enough to accept that I have it inside me, but I will still not use it. I will run for the otherworldly things, to use that and to crave for that and to look upon them as I'm a person beneath them. In the previous chapter, if you remember, he said that, and you will go through another chapter with me in the future, that we are living gods among gods. That means, if the writer says that we are gods, that means imagine the superpower we are having. We are so arrogant enough, we are getting ourselves beneath the human level, even not even the level of gods, beneath the level of humans. So what he says, we should be going for the morning sunrise. Writer says morning rays, sun rays are one of the best energy source for us. For example, when I was reading this line, I just came to a vision of a what do you say, a movie that you all are aware of, Superman. Where does he get his energy from? He's from Kryptonite. He is from another planet. His energy is inside. His weakness is Krypton or Kryptonite, whatever the name is there right now. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm reading the books and I'm explaining you out of some comic books and learning deliberately using those words. I cannot get around the word, the material he uses, Krypton or Kryptonite. So, but the energy of Superman comes from sunlight. He has developed all his energy, and when he's away from sun rays, he's weak. When he goes on a planet where there is no sunlight, he cannot have his superpower. So I believe, it just while I was doing this podcast and recording this one, this came to my mind. That means if the writer is saying that, and the Superman is coming out now in this century, and the book is older than that, that means it was already established that sun rays are so important for humans to achieve superpowers. I am trying to make a simile from the current world and from the philosophy of the old world that I'm reading, that it was already established that sun rays give us superpowers. That is being translated in our comics, and all these superpowers we can attain. But we foolishly want to see them in someone else and just blaming us and keeping ourselves in the audiences when we can be the main player with the superpower. So what he says that sun rays are one of the most powerful things. In the morning, early morning, we should open windows, inhale the fresh air, and take the sun rays and turn that into our superpower. After that, he says we should be focusing on the day-to-day activities. Once it's evening time, we should be focusing on the things that we were not able to perform during the daytime. That is the time we have to analyze, calculate, and criticize ourselves. So with this part, we will be finishing this episode, and in the next part, the most important thing is coming up with the exercises. Now we'll be discussing further exercises, how we can increase the power of concentration. So, but before that, what he says is that the last part we're going to discuss is that control your mind before controlling your body, because mind controls the thoughts. So everything comes down to mind. If I want a certain kind of body, I want a certain kind of environment, it has to be done through this part first. Know the physical substance that we are having, the brain, mind inside that. We have to start using it. We should not be saying that we cannot use that, or we are doing some dishonesty when God gave this to us and we are thinking that, okay, we should take it back like this. Otherwise, it will be a dishonest thing to use it. So we'll be very happy in front of the God. Okay, I haven't used it. You gave me the way, and I'm bringing it back the same way you gave it to me. So we should be using our brain, control our mind, and then eventually, once we learn to control our mind, automatically we are able to concentrate. Once we are able to concentrate, we are able to get the beneficial thoughts of superhuman beings, and then we go to the super cosmic consciousness, and divine power is given to us, and we become superhumans. That's good. Hopefully that makes sense. And thank you very much. Again, need your feedback. Where I'm making mistakes, what I should be doing more, what I should not be doing, and if any other books we should be discussing first. Because our first 100 books are going to be on psychology and emotions and human superpowers, all related to these things. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot.